Hey, we're on. Hey, gang. Brent Allen Morgan, your Beachbody coach, and today we're going to talk about what I consider one of the key components in the P90X toolkit for your success. And, I talked about the P90X fitness guide being the holy Bible of this program. If that's true, and it is, in my opinion, the P90X nutrition guide is the holy grail of this program. And you're going to understand why as we go through this today. Now, this might be a little bit longer than some other videos, but I highly encourage you to not overlook this step. This is huge to your success and well worth the time invested. I mean, look, you laid out money on the table, right? You're blocking off time. You've got this burning desire to change some things in your life. Make sure you squeeze every penny out of this program that you can, and make sure that you give yourself every chance for success that you're looking for. And so don't overlook this. Terribly important. That's why I'm spending some time on this today. All right, so let's kind of flip through the pages and see what it's all about. By the way, whether you have P90X1, P90X2, or P90X3, they're each come with a nutrition guide. They're pretty similar, except for P90X3, I noticed, was a little more general and a little more broad in its understanding of nutrition. And but I encourage you to watch this video if you have P90X3 and watch what goes on in this book, some of the examples I'm going to show you, because it's going to help you give you a better understanding of what they're talking about P90X3, in my own opinion. So anyway, let's take a look. Of course, on page 1, and by the way, I highly encourage you to take some time, half hour, 10, 15 minutes a day, whatever, over the next couple of days, and read through this thing and really study it and kind of get a grip on what's going on here. Of course, read the introduction that kind of gives sets things up to make sense of what you're about to see on the next coming pages. And remember this number 3. This is kind of like a triangular approach, okay? And there are 3 major components, and within the 3 major components, there are 3 choices you need to make. You can choose from as to what phase you're in or where you're at in the program, as to what your nutrition needs are. It sounds complicated. It's really not. The first thing you need to understand is there are 3 phases to the P90X program. There are the fat shredder phase, the energy booster phase, and the endurance maximizer. And your body's going to change as you proceed through the program, so you're going to want to change it up from one to the other. Most of you will most likely begin at fat shredder, but that's a decision you have to make for you, and the only way you can make that decision is to educate yourself. And so I'm trying to help you expedite that education just a little bit. That reminds me that I heard it said one time that a smart man learns from his mistakes and his experience, and a wise man or woman learns from somebody else's mistakes and experience. So I'm trying to kind of give you a shortcut here. So on the next page, page 2, it goes into depth at what fat shredder phase 1, energy booster phase 2, and endurance maximizer phase 3 are all about, what they are. That's going to help you. That's going to give you the knowledge to make the choice of where you are and what's going to be best for you at any particular point in the program. And then there are 3 approaches to each phase: fat shredder, endurance maximizer, and endurance maximizer and energy booster. And there's the portion approach, the meal approach, and the quick option approach. You're going to need to choose which one of those you need. And again, as you read through here, it's going to make perfect sense to you. Now, there's also 3 nutrition levels, depending on how much you weigh and what your activity is in the day. And I'm going to come back to this page in a minute and give you an example. This is where a lot of people I've talked to get tripped up. A lot of people go, "Oh, I'm no good at math." But you know what? It's very, very simple if you just unhinge that thought from your mind, if you have that thought, and just walk through the process. And I'm going to show you how simple it is in a minute. We'll come back to that in a second. So once you get an understanding of that, I encourage you to start preparing your mind by reading pages 6 through 11. And my favorite page in there is page 7. Toss the junk. No, really. They mean go through your house, Throw out the cupcakes, throw out the cookies and all that stuff. Now look, I know that, we all live with other people that may not be supportive of what you're doing. In fact, they may be making fun of you even. My wife is a wonderful person, but I call her the junk food queen, and she knows it. And she has a little cupboard over here, and I stay out of that cupboard because there's little goodies in there that I don't need to be tempted with. And all my stuff's in here: natural peanut butter, Shakeology, recovery drink, non-GMO, all-natural granola, and all the stuff normal people consider awful. So anyway, you got to come up with a system that's going to work for you. But I say toss the junk in your mind. So read closely pages 6 through 11, because it's going to set your mind up for success on what to expect, what obstacles you might have, calculating your calorie needs and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you read through that. Now, back to the number 3. Once you figure out what level you are and what phase you want to be in, then you've got to figure out, you use this chart to figure out where you're at. So let's say you're phase 1, level 1, you're going to be phase 1 fat shredder. See, at the beginning of the program, this might be best for you because if you got a little, extra weight, 10, 15, 20, 30, maybe more pounds, you're going to have more proteins and less carbs. But as you progress through the program, that's going to change. You might find that, all of a sudden 3-4 weeks into it, you can't get through a workout anymore. What's going on? Your numbers are going down. You're feeling wore out. A lot of things can come into play in that, but one thing you might want to take a look at is, you might want to switch from fat shredder to energy booster, which has a little bit more carbs and less proteins. And then when you get really fit, this happened to me, you're going to need endurance maximizer, which I know is going to freak you out. It's going to be way more carbs and way less proteins. And they explain why that is in the book. So I highly encourage you to read the book cover to cover and figure out what you're doing. So let's talk about one of the 3 ways you can choose to do, what do they call that? Hold on. The portion approach. Okay, I did not like to fool around. They have meal plans in here and the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. That was the meal plan approach, and there was the quick option approach. I chose to make my own meals up using this page right here. Like I was on Fat Shredder phase 1, and so I went and used this chart right here to figure out how many proteins, how many dairies, how many vegetables, how many blah blah blah. And then I went to this page and I chose food and I did a little simple math and added up the calories and the portions, and then I created my own menu. I did that once, and then I was done. And a little sick, but I ate I eat the same things every day. That's why I drink Shakeology a lot, because I know I'm not getting all the nutrients I need. It does not bother me to eat the same thing every day. Most people cannot and will not do that. I just don't like to fuss with things. I like it done and over with. I don't want to be thinking about what I'm eating, because I got more important things to think about, right? That was an approach that works for me. You have to read this and come up with what works for you. Now let's go back to that tricky page I talked about, page 5, where it talks about, what nutrition level you are and has some simple math. So on here, we're going to change the number a little bit. There's 4 steps. Excuse me. And the first step is creating your resting metabolic rate, your RMR. And if you can see this, I think it's going to be backwards, but, put it in a mirror or something. I can't figure out how to make this camera work right. But if you can see this, it's, my weight was 125. And it says take your weight times 10, and you come up with your RMR. My RMR was 1250. That's weird that that's backwards. All right, and then once I had my RMR, I went to step 2, my daily activity burn, which is how many calories you burn in a day. So you take your RMR, which is 1250, backwards. If you play that backwards, do you go to hell? That was bad, I'm sorry. Anyway, times 20, and I come up with 250. That is my daily activity burn. That's how many calories they burn just sitting around breathing, you know. And then I go to step 3, and I take my RMR plus my daily burn, which I just added up on the other page, which is 250, plus the 600 calories that they figure that you're going to burn doing P90X every day. And my daily calorie need, my daily energy amount is 2,000. When you look at the chart on page 5 at the bottom, that puts my nutrition level at a level 1. Okay? So what I just showed you was going down this steps 1, 2, and 3. It's that simple math. And then once you figure out, oh, you're a level 1, then when you go to this page, page 15, say you're going to do fat shredder. You're a level 1, phase 1, level 1. So phase 1 means fat shredder. Level 1 means, you're between a certain amount of calories per day. And then I used option 1 for the portion controls. I put my meals together from these charts. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can go to the meal planner. See, it says phase 1 fat shredder meal planner, and they have your meals. You don't have to think about this. You just got to go get everything that's on these lists and make these meals, and that's your meals planned out for the week. I know that ran a little bit long. I hope that helps you. It's extremely important. Listen, if you can't figure this thing out on your own, don't be embarrassed. I've helped countless people figure that out. And, some of us just get a little wigged out about that. It took me a while in the beginning. I mean, I was a little intimidated by that too. But I promise you, once you get a grip on this thing, it's like anything else you've accomplished in life. It seems like this huge mountain at the beginning. And then when you get done, you're that wasn't so bad. Listen, man, I am excited about running this program with you for 90 days. By mid-July, man, we are all going to be fit. It's going to be awesome. All right, Brett Allen Morgan, your Beachbody coach. Let's make this thing happen, guys. Get in touch with me if you need any help setting any part of this up. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the fitness guy. Or not the fitness guy, the fitness test. Okay?